Hi there, my name is Hamza. I'm the author of The Job Seeker and the Coach. It's a complete job search hacking system narrated as a story. And today we're going to talk about someone's CV. He's posted it on Reddit and he needs some help because, according to him, he or she gets rejected all the time with the CV. So I want to offer you a really quick feedback. If you're the author of the CV, please don't take anything I'm going to say in a negative way. I'm really doing this to help you, and hopefully this is going to be useful not just to you but to everyone that is watching. So listen, you've been graduating recently. Congratulations. So that's fantastic, and you've been doing some work while you were studying. That's really fascinating. So the first thing I would tell you is that recruiters, oh, by the way, I'm a recruiter by profession, so I've been recruiting in 3 continents. Originally, I worked in Paris, London, Dubai. So basically what I'm going to tell you is not just an opinion of a random guy, but it really is the opinion of 18 years of experience working with multinationals, government organizations, etc., etc. I'm also an employer, so I have to hire for myself as well, and I receive CVs and I make decisions not just for my clients but also for myself. So really, the first thing that I would like to tell you is please don't assume that recruiters are going to really quickly connect the dots that you've been probably doing internships or very short contracts during your studies. If it is a typical contract where it's a permanent contract, you don't need to precise what kind of contract it is. But if it is a temporary contract, an internship or whatever, please do mention it, because it explains why you're no longer there. So when I see May 2018 to October 2018 or Jan 2018 to May 2018, I'm thinking, why is he not there? Oh, it changes really quickly, but no, in fact you've been studying. So this is completely understood. So it's just really important that we understand what's going on, because you worked between 2017 and 2018, so there's been a year gap here where you've done a bit of work, and that's fantastic. But please mention next to the company, for example, where you say this is a temporary contract to pay for my studies, because immediately as humans we have tremendous respect for people that do this. Okay, so it's great. It really is great. Not everyone has rich parents that can pay for studies. So when you say, I've done a 6 months contract or 3 months contract to pay for my studies, or to put into practice what I've learned, or whatever, or to acquire some experience, immediately we see an advanced student, not just someone that's just studying and waiting and not worrying about the future, but someone that's actually building and planning, that's strategizing, that's positioning himself or herself. So that's really good. There's 4 ingredients, and this is what I use to assess every single CV. I'm a career coach, so I do receive a lot of CVs, and I have a lot of clients that I help writing their CV, but essentially I use these 4 ingredients. So I'm going to share them with you, and hopefully you're going to see things through a different lens here. So the first ingredient of a quality CV is keywords, because keywords are everywhere. As long as there's a database, recruiters or employers will use keywords to find a short list or a long list of candidates. So you have tons of keywords, and that's great. If you're wondering where to find keywords, just use job descriptions, okay, job adverts. They are full of keywords, and they're telling you what the recruiter is going to be looking for in his database. There's databases everywhere. Job sites are databases. LinkedIn is a database. Recruitment companies, large organizations all have databases, okay? So they don't necessarily just go through their emails and say, hang on, who sent me his CV in the last 12 months? No, they just all have them on a database, and they put keywords. So make sure you have the right keywords, because the moment you have better keywords, your CV is going to come up in the search much more often, which means a better conversion towards getting calls. Second ingredient, and this is where I need you to do the second, third, and fourth ingredient. This is where I will need you to do a bit of work on your CV if you'd like to believe me, of course. Basically, the second is using action verbs. Be deliberate on the type of verbs that you're going to be using. Be deliberate with that, because when I read, for example, your first bullet point here under company one, using social media platform and data analysis to retarget customers. Okay, if we stop there, so you're using social media platforms and data analysis. I don't know if you're doing it the right way or not. In fact, anyone can use, because using means anything and nothing, use social media platforms. Which social media platforms are we talking about? Data analysis, which ones? You see, if I'm looking for a social media expert, you can bet that I'm going to put Facebook as a keyword, or LinkedIn or whatever, because every social media platform, although similar in theory, is very, very different internally. So what you want is be super specific. If one sentence does not transpire into a skill, then it's probably the wrong sentence and you need to rephrase it. You rephrase it using these 4 ingredients. Keywords, let's use perhaps a social media, like let's say Facebook if it is Facebook, let's say Twitter if it is Twitter, etc. Action verbs, using is not really a skill. Okay, I can use a social media platform to retarget customers, even if I do it terribly, because I've watched a 5-minute video like this one, and I hope you will do fantastic after you watch this one. But if I just read a quick article and I do it terribly, I too can put exactly this sentence on my CV. So I can say, using social media platform and data analysis to retarget customers. What's the difference between me, total loser on retargeting customers, and you, probably good at what you do? Well, you've got to choose this action verb carefully. The second ingredient, keyword, action verb. So you've got it here. Retarget customers across Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn to drastically improve click-through rate. Now we're talking. Okay, so now I'm feeling that you know what you're talking about. Okay, and so we've seen 2 ingredients. Number 1, keywords. Okay, number 2, action verbs. Number 3 is quantifying, is putting numbers. In fact, when you say using social media platforms, how many? 2, 3? How often do you retarget? Is this a weekly occurrence? What's the size of your campaigns? Are we talking about $100 campaigns or $1 million campaigns? Now, I don't know for you, but this makes a tremendous amount of importance when it comes to comparing people with one another, comparing profiles with one another. Someone that runs thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars campaigns is very different than someone that runs hundreds of dollars campaigns. Okay, what's at stake is much bigger. So quantifying things suddenly puts context. It's a little bit like a manager that says, managing people on a daily basis. Okay, great. But a manager of 2 people is very different than a manager of 65 people in 3 locations. Completely different type of manager, right? So quantifying gives you context, and if you do it right, it will add that feeling, the perception of seniority, expertise, etc., etc. You can quantify pretty much everything. Okay, you've got a good experience here. You've had a big exposure. I can feel it when I read it, but I can't prove it. This is for you to really choose the right word. So let's repeat those 3 out of 4 ingredients so far. We talked about keywords. Okay, adding keywords. You can bet that if I'm looking for a social media analyst, I'm definitely going to put Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever in line with what I'm looking for exactly and what I'm using exactly. Okay, number 2, I'm talking about action verbs, so not using, or like the bullet point number 2, collaborating, or like organize, extrapolate, disseminate. It means nothing and everything. It doesn't really appeal to a skill. Remember, every single sentence needs to transpire into a skill. Okay, so 3rd is quantifying. You've got to create context. How many, how much, how big, how small, how frequent. Okay, did you have to do whatever? Okay, and finally, results. So these are the 4 ingredients: keywords, action verbs, quantifying, and results. If you don't have any results in your CV, you see, it's a little bit like what you're saying on your CV is, well, people paid me to do something, but I produced nothing. How? If you improved click-through rates, if you made a campaign more effective, or whatever you did, if you saved time by building a database that was much more organized in terms of whatever, okay, data management, um, then you've got to say it. Remember, it's time, percentage, so increases, reduction, okay, or money, okay. These are results that companies are looking for. If you save time, you kind of saved everyone money, because the time that was used, it was salaries being paid during that time to do that. If you saved it, then salaries are paid to do something else. You help the company, okay, be more productive. Percentages, if you increase or decrease something, it could be positive on both sides, okay. It could be increasing, click-through rate, reducing campaign budget, for example, whatever. And finally, money. If you've been able to produce or generate or lead a team that was generating X amount of money through your campaign, then say it. Again, it's connected to quantifying as well. But what's really important is that if you achieved something, say it. And it's really hard sometimes to look into this. So you've got to remember perhaps performance reviews. You've got to remember why if I was to call your employer and I was to ask him, okay, so how is he? How did he do during his stay at your company? What would he say? Okay, how would you be remembered? Okay, that's really, really important. Listen, I hope it helps, but essentially when I read your CV, I was missing a lot of things. So I was confused with the words that you used because it didn't transpire into any skill. In fact, when I read it, it sounded more like a job description more than what you did. A job description is so common and standard, and it's all the same, and it's just empty. But when you start adding these 4 ingredients, you become unique. Nobody's going to have your numbers. Nobody's going to talk the way you talk. These action verbs are going to trigger the employer's or the recruiter's imagination. So I hope it helps. I know it's very quick, but if you read using social media platform and data analytics to retarget customers using personalized ads and generate leads, what does it mean? I don't know. Of course, you're going to say, no, it means because you're not in social media. No, wait. Make it stupid simple for everyone. Just be very, very, very deliberate on the words that you use. Collaborating with senior management teams to prioritize business requirements and locate and define opportunities for process improvement. What's the skill? What is the skill? Because you say using Excel. I use Excel, so can I do that as well? Can I just put this sentence as well? No, of course not. So organize, extrapolate, and disseminate data across departments. What does it mean? What's the skill here? So you just share the report? See, I'm challenging you here, okay? So that's my humble feedback. I hope that this is a little bit helpful and that you're going to work into this. There's a total resume writing formula if you ever want, and I will be sharing the link in the description. I hope this helps, and thank you very much. Keep it up. You're going to get there, and you have an amazing experience. I absolutely feel it. You just need to package it in a way that people say, wow, what's inside? Let's call him. All right, this was Hamza Zawali from Name Your Career, and thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like my tips, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.